We've been keeping you posted for the last several months on all of the rumors and news surrounding the Quest 3S, aka the Quest 3 Lite, and it looks like one of our favorite data miners / leakers has an image that they're claiming is the final design. The headset that was codenamed Project Ventura or Panther is the Quest 3S, which is basically a lighter version of the Quest 3. Still has the same mixed reality color pass-through, still the same Snapdragon processor inside, but in a cheaper shell with the older Fresnel style lenses and possibly a lot less features. As we told you, it looked like there was not going to be any sort of auxiliary port for headphones, and this potential final design looks like it, although people thought what was on the side was an auxiliary port and were excited in the comments. It is another camera on the side to help track your hands, multiple camera array on the front, and different microphones for the camera pass-through, and an interesting new action button on the bottom that could be dedicated to pass-through or could be a reprogrammable button along with a volume rocker you can see there. It's rumored this would have the same style 3-click lenses inside that the cheaper Quest 2 had and not have fully adjustable IPD like we're used to now on the Quest 3. And it's rumored that this would be revealed either before or right at Meta Connect this year, late September, which would track with pretty much everything Meta's done with launching new headsets. Usually they show it off there, although there had been so many leaks by then, we usually know almost everything about the headsets. And from there, they open up pre-orders and it usually starts delivering a couple weeks after the event. This is rumored to be a $300 headset that would basically replace the Quest 2 completely and brings up a big question of whether this is worth most people buying this headset or not. We'll cover that more in depth in a future video, but really this is considered a lower tier version of the Quest 3, so the Quest 3 should remain the most relevant headset in the coming future. v69 is dropping in the public test channel. If you've been following this channel the last couple weeks, you're probably like, what the heck, v68 isn't even finished coming out yet. And that's right, we told you already how v68 dropped, but a ton of the features that were supposed to be there by Meta's notes aren't out yet, and we said maybe it's just going to come out with 69. Well, 69 is only hitting early so far in the public test channel if you're opted into that to test things early, but it seems like it aligned the day the PTC got v69. A couple of the 68 features finally showed up. We're still missing a lot of them, at least on my headsets, even the ones I've opted into 69, but now the audio levels in the camera screen are actually showing up. Other people in the comments have reported they actually have the hide button to hide apps, and someone said in experimental they had the adaptive display, but I can say on ours we don't have the adaptive display, we don't have the hide apps button, we can't download multiple apps at one time or see the downloads tab. So basically v69 is out in public test and we're getting to play with some of its features, which we'll talk about, but at this point currently v68 still isn't fully rolled out, so hopefully when 69 actually goes from public test to fully public, all these back features will catch up with all of us. Although we're still waiting on features from 68, that doesn't mean the public test channel isn't moving forward and rolling out v69. This is in a preview state, this is not the final release note, so remember that in all these features they may or may not show up in 69, but these are things that testers, data miners have been able to find so far and pointing towards the future. An experimental setting brings seamless multitasking support to the Quest, meaning that now you could be in a VR game and open up all kinds of different 2D apps directly in the game and use them simultaneously. Whether you're in a puzzle game, you got stuck at a part, you need to look up a walkthrough, you don't need to exit the app anymore, you could just open it and watch it while you're in the game. You could even be playing a flat screen game while in another game. Upload VR showed a video of them in Demia. If you're waiting for your turn, you could pull up a side-loaded Android emulator and play that while waiting for your turn. But something for creators that I think about is streaming. We've asked forever to have a good ability to pull up stream chat while playing a game, and this also makes that more possible. It will be experimental for now, and it can only run one panel at a time due basically to the hardware constraints of the Quest 3. It wouldn't be able to simultaneously run multiple apps at one time, but this is something that a lot of people had thought should have been available for a long time, and it looks like we're finally going to have hopefully close to a final version of it. Our favorite data miner and leaker we mentioned before, Luna, coming up with a bunch of other details in the strings of code, more clues to the final possibility that you can actually anchor windows in the room in mixed reality around you, or even in VR apps now that would stay in place but also have spatial audio, meaning if you put the new Spotify player that's supposed to be coming on your wall, you could walk away from it and it would get quieter, you could turn your head, you'd hear it from one side, making these planted apps seem a lot more realistic and immersive with the audio. Some strings about Microsoft implementing native desktop streaming for the Quest to Windows, that way you don't have to have a dedicated streaming app to use your PC directly. Mentions of the codec avatars, the hyper-realistic avatars that have actually been in development for a long time but seem like Meta's answer to Apple Vision Pro's avatars. Looks like they're getting closer and maybe could have a beta version even out in the next few months. And as we mentioned before, maybe the 69 update is going to give us all those features from 68 we were still waiting on. Once the final release notes come directly from Meta, we'll report on this again, let you know what all you should be able to expect with 69. But it seems like some decent features for actual multitasking and things that could open up a lot of possibilities. We already mentioned to you before, Pico has announced they are going to be dropping some sort of news on August 20th, and this looks to be possibly the long-awaited Pico 4S. And now things are about to get really confusing because the Quest 3S is the light, cheaper version of the Quest 3, but the Pico 4S looks to be better by its specs than the Pico 4, meaning the S term added to something is not going to be universally adapted so that it means a lower, cheaper version. This is something we'll know more about on the 20th when they actually do the final event, but this is something that's gone back as far as July when there was supposedly images of the Pico 4S dropping, and then details more recently showing a full spec sheet that may not be final, but looks to be a pretty solid headset from the world of Pico. We also announced to you already we had some big giveaway winners this week. We've been doing celebrating for a while, giving out to all of you out there, and we recently actually got some support getting some Quest 3s again, as it's been a long time since we've had any headsets sent to us directly by Meta. The video goes a lot more in detail into what we're doing with all those headsets and what we got going on out there later this week, but there will be some links in the comments and description down below in case you want to get entered in those new ones or find out what's going on, or if you're local to the area and you want to come hang out and compete in some stuff we got going on coming up for the channel too. We're trying to land our first ever event on a weekend for a bunch of you to come out. It's just tricky because I'm literally going to be in Germany for the next 2 weekends, possibly at PAX the weekend after that. So then I've got a couple weekends at the beginning of September that might be the time we do our first one before I go down for Meta Connect. But whenever it happens, I want to bring a bunch of you out here. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to film it and make some cool videos for you to see. So keep an eye out for that. Check out the links down below to know more. This new Horizon feed has been going on for a couple months now, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you've been on the MetaQuest app lately, you might notice that there's videos from your favorite creators showing up on there. They can link you directly to the games they're playing or what they're doing, and it's something that we have the opportunity, if we want to publish some content there, we can. I haven't done any of it yet. Now that it's been out a while, I wonder how are all of you feeling about it out there? Now that you've seen it more, do you think that it's something we should be trying to get on more? Is it something you enjoy looking at? Is it clogging up your feed? Or is it something you're still totally unfamiliar with and have no idea what I'm talking about? I'd love to know in the comments down below and continue the conversation there, because it's something that I've been considering, but we definitely have not made the time for between everything else that's been going on. Between all the big things that are coming up for the channel, we're still here for you every day, uploading news, reviews, games, lists, events with all of you. We dropped a list earlier this week of the biggest free games that people are spending the most time playing and downloading, and there was a couple surprises about what's actually getting near the top spots on there. I'll leave a link over here in case you missed that video, a couple other ones from recently, but watch out. It's gonna be a busy couple weeks with us moving around, traveling and stuff, but we'll still be here for you hopefully every day, even if it's a short thank you, and I'll see you in another reality.